Sequels usually suck, especially when they are obvious cash grabs of an original with an innovative concept. That's why great sequels get so much well-deserved praise. Look at Terminator 2, Portal 2, or The Two Towers. Seeing one of your favorite media get turned into a mainstream, soulless pile of trash is horrifying and can ruin your overall experience of a series as a whole. Psychonauts is my favorite game of all time. With its meaningful story, timeless design, and quirky characters, it truly is impossible to dislike it. In 2005, when it was released, we hadn't seen anything like it before, and because of its cult status, of course there would be whispers about a sequel. And the sequel there was. 16 years later. And boy, was I not ready for that ride. By the way, this video will discuss mental health, addiction, and anxiety, among other things. There might also be visuals that can induce phobias such as teeth, puking, and claustrophobia. For those of you unfamiliar with Psychonauts, here's the rundown, although you should probably go and play it first. Raz, a boy with psychic powers, runs away from home to a summer camp for psychic children. At the camp he meets Sasha, Mia, and Ford, who all are Psychonauts. Psychonauts are agents who protect the world from evil and investigates entities with unregistered psychic powers. With me thus far? Good. While at the camp, Raz notices that Sasha's brains are going missing. He learns that a man named Lovato is stealing the kid's brains with the help of Oleander, one of the camp counselors. By exploring the inner workings of the minds of inmates at the mental asylum, he is able to help them get over their traumas. Then they help you reach Lovato, which allows you to save your girlfriend and recover all the missing brains. In the final cutscene, however, you learn that your girlfriend Lily's father has been kidnapped, and that Lovato had something to do with that too. Alright, that's Psychonauts 1. Now, Rhombus of Ruin, a VR sequel to the original game, was released and ties into the overarching story. Raz, the Psychonauts, and Lily go to the Rhombus of Ruin. They're all captured and brought to Lobato's hideout, where he keeps Lily's father, Truman. Using his psychic powers, Raz is able to enter Lobato's mind and fight his trauma. Once Raz exits Lobato's mind, Lovato has a change of heart and lets them all go. Unbeknownst to the gang, Lovato hops on their jet with the hopes to follow them to the Psychonauts headquarters, also known as the Mother Lobe. This is where Psychonauts 2 starts off. You are instantly shoved into a crazy mental world, and just like the first game, the first level is no joke. Introducing you to the core mechanics that will stay relevant through the entire game, while also setting the tone for not only the story, but also the art direction. While the original has Raz in awe of the inside of a mind, Psychonauts 2 shows his confidence and familiarity with his surroundings. Psychonauts 2 has in many ways expanded and improved on the mechanics and themes of the first game. One of the most noticeable of these changes is to the powers and their upgrades. In the first game, Raz learns psychic powers that helps him through his journey, the most important of which Raz still possesses. However, some abilities have been removed or changed in favor of new and exciting powers, allowing new gameplay, fighting combos, and puzzles to take place. For example, in the original game you could level up some of your abilities by grabbing collectibles. This could either enhance their strength, the duration, or recharge rate on certain abilities. In Psychonauts 2, however, you're able to buy these pins in the shop that can both enhance your powers, but also give you quirky abilities like being able to pet the sheep that are scattered around the main hub area. And other than the pins, you also are able to upgrade your specific powers by ranking up, just like the original game. A huge difference from the first game is the fact that you now gain ability points and you are allowed to pick the power you want to upgrade. There are multiple upgrades for every single power that in some cases completely change how you use them. This makes your own playstyle grow, as all abilities have a purpose and your impact on their effectiveness is evident. Now, some of the powers that Raz carries over from the first game have been changed slightly to make them either more appealing or just to fit the gameplay better. For example, the old pyrokinesis power had you standing still for a slight bit of time to set one focused thing on fire. This brief moment of standing still made the power less viable in actual combat in the original game, and the power had a very niche usage. In Psychonauts 2, pyrokinesis now allows you to move freely around. The burning happens not on a specific item, but rather in an area of effect, and they implemented new enemies that are intended to be fought with the power, making it a more viable power to use not only in battle, but also as an exploration tool, as there are areas that require you to burn or break items to collect treasures. Of course, there wouldn't be a Psychonauts game without new powers. The 3 new powers all fit well with the themes of their unique levels, and they introduce new concepts that we've previously not explored in this series. They have unique usages, presenting cool puzzles, larger scale levels, and even makes exploring the overworld an absolute blast. While you have the same amount of abilities in both games, Psychonauts 2 has expanded on the way you can combine the abilities, making multiple different playstyles not only possible, but also viable. All your abilities have usage both within the designated areas where they are required, as well as having utility in other areas such as combat or exploration. Here's a power hot take. In the original game, the levitation ability allowed you to float downwards indefinitely, allowing you to reach areas further away, as well as allowing Raz to jump higher than he could without it. In Psychonauts 2, however, they've changed this ability to where you have a finite amount of time to float, and without a specific ability, you can't jump higher with it. This change made the most powerful and impactful power in Psychonauts 1 less of a crucial ability to have equipped at all times. On one hand, I find it slightly sad that such a useful and fun ability would be nerfed, but the new ability Mental Connection actually makes up for this change and makes the evolution of the frankly overpowered levitation ability from Psychonauts 1 not seem to be such a bad thing. One of, if not the defining features of the original Psychonauts is its ideas and visual representation of mental health and mental disorders. Simply take the level of the OCD-ridden Sasha 9 and compare it to the paranoia schizophrenia world of Boyd Cooper, aka the Milkman. This aspect is rough to handle and can easily feel exploitative and can alienate certain players if done in a less thoughtful manner. That's why Psychonauts 2 is such an impressive feat. Not only does the game handle anxiety, addiction and trauma in the most careful way, but it's able to respect the feelings of anyone with these struggles while also telling a compelling story that resolves these issues for the characters. Take the enemy, the panic attacks. They're the embodiment of a character's inner panic. This enemy only appears within minds that have experienced overwhelming emotions. Their attack pattern is fast, unpredictable, and requires a calm mind to be able to defeat. Or look at how Holly reacts to her new gambling addiction in comparison to Bob's established and deep-rooted alcoholism. There are 2 videos by Mister Donlon going further in depth about this specific aspect, way better than I ever could. But the point stands that the visual representation of a mind crumbling over years of addiction versus the excited and reckless impact of a newfound addiction has, in a nuanced way, explored how the human psyche reacts when our neurochemicals are out of balance. This also shows how something exciting and fun can come back around and break you down if you don't have the control, support, and knowledge to handle an underlying problem. As to not spoil the story more than I already have, I'll just move on to the actual gameplay. The core gameplay in Psychonauts 2 is quite similar to the original. It's an adventure platformer using the psychic powers to solve puzzles that allow you to move forwards through a level, the story, or to find collectibles. As you explore the levels, the main hub, and the optional areas, you will find these collectibles that upgrade your powers, your health, or moves the storyline forwards. The original game had a high focus on Raz's acrobatic abilities. The levitation power did kind of make his physical abilities obsolete in the original, and that's why the nerf to this specific power enhances the overall gameplay as well as allowing new powers to be utilized. The way Raz handles is way more fluid and consistent, and you're actually able to make combos with your powers in the sequel, in comparison to how you in the original mainly just either hit enemies with the basic punches or shot them from a distance. Adding new enemies into the game that embodies different mental health issues, such as guilt, doubts, and regrets, among other things, not only gives us a deeper understanding of a character's inner turmoil, but also enhances the combat system, further engaging you in the inner worlds of the characters. Certain areas have been crafted in such a way that you have to utilize Raz's core abilities and learn how he handles. The platforming tends to be on the simple side for anything major or required, but for most of the collectibles like the half-a-minds that give you health, the nuggets of wisdom, or the emotional baggage that give you skill points, the platforming or exploration required can be ramped up in difficulty. In comparison to the original, that technically only had one side quest, Psychonauts 2 has multiple side quests that move their own storylines forwards. In Psychonauts 2, you had to go out of your way to talk with all the kids around the camp to actually experience their storylines, which makes it easy to miss some of the most fun characters, some of the most fun voice lines, and the stories within the game. One could argue that this was better as it rewarded exploration, something that is important in both games. However, personally, I think making the side quests force you to actually explore the world is a good thing, and you're still going to talk with all the characters around you, as you never know what they're going to say or how Raz is going to respond. Both games have dialogue options, but Psychonauts 2 has expanded on this, as well as making more dialogue options have a continuation, making for deeper conversations with some of your favorite characters, like Sasha, Mia, and Sam. Psychonauts 2 is the sequel I never thought would be made. Double Fine has created a continuation of a classic game that not only polishes the core of the original's gameplay, but also expands on the concepts that made the original a cult classic. They have crafted a sequel that keeps the feeling of the original, while enhancing essentially all aspects. To me, this truly is the perfect sequel. It's a game that, despite being born on the back of a classic, is unique enough to start its own legacy. I've already spent hours being entertained by the Psychonauts series, and that's why I hope I've been able to entertain you with this video. If you enjoy your time here, I hope you like the video and possibly even subscribe to my channel to catch more videos from me in the future. My name's Turtlekun, eat well, sleep well, and I'll see you in my next video.